I'm at Bigelow Canyon Wind Facility near Wasco, Oregon, to talk a little bit more about wind. Now, we all know historically wind was used by farmers to grind grain, pump water, and power other devices that were useful for them in doing their job. Fast forward to today, where utilities like BPA continue to try to integrate wind into the resources that we use to meet the increasing demand for electricity, and importantly, help us fight the effects of climate change. So today I'm joined by Elliot Mainzer, currently BPA's Vice President for Corporate Strategy, who's got a great deal of experience in wind energy and how you integrate it into a system of resources. We're right in the heart of the Columbia Gorge. A lot of wind here. We're literally surrounded by turbines. Why so much here?
You know, Doug, when I look out and I see all these wind turbines, it absolutely amazes me to just think about how much growth we've had in wind over the last few years. Today we have 2,800 megawatts of wind on our system. As a matter of fact, from 2005 to 2008, we are actually doubling the amount of wind every year. The key thing to understand is that the growth of wind is driven by a number of important variables. Probably first and foremost are concerns about energy and the environment, and many of our legislators in the different states have passed laws that require our utilities to actually purchase renewable energy. So a lot of the wind turbines you see here are actually being purchased by other utilities besides Bonneville Power Administration. So if you look out and you ask yourself, why so much here? I think it's for a few reasons. First of all, we've got a pretty good wind resource out here. Second of all, you've got some good land use requirements. The farmers out here are enjoying the economic development benefits of putting the wind out here. You've got good terrain. And I think another really important variable is we have a lot of transmission capacity out here, and transmission capacity is absolutely essential to helping develop wind energy.
And so BPA has 15,000 miles of transmission lines throughout the Northwest. That's enough now. What else are you doing?
The amount of wind energy that's being developed on our system has actually required us to go out and expand our transmission system. And we've just started building a new series of lines on the eastern side of the Columbia River Gorge. And as we look out in the next couple of years, we're going to have to do even more. And other utilities around us are going to have to expand their transmission systems as well, so that we can spread out the wind development to other regions of the Pacific Northwest, so we're not concentrating it all here in the lower Columbia part of the gorge.
So wind is variable. Wind only blows when the wind blows, not like other resources where you can kind of measure what you've got and kind of plan out. How's that dealt with?
Electricity is one of the few products that in which supply has to absolutely equal demand at any particular time. What we have to do at Bonneville is we have to make sure that a reliable, consistent amount of energy is actually delivered from these wind projects. When the wind energy projects schedule a certain amount of energy, we have to make sure that exactly that amount is delivered. And if the wind projects ramp up a lot more than was expected, we have to back down the hydro system. And likewise, if the wind dies off, we have to ramp up the hydro system. So we provide the balancing services to maintain system reliability and make sure that those consumers get the energy that they need. Historically, most of the generation technologies that we've had, gas plants and hydro dams and coal plants, they're pretty predictable in their output. You start bringing wind energy into the system and it's a different ballgame. Wind generates when the wind is blowing, and it tends to be quite variable and uncertain. As we put more and more wind, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 megawatts, we're going to have to start bringing other technologies and other resources into the game to help provide the balancing services that we've traditionally provided with the hydro system.
And one of the really important tools in your toolbox is improving the way wind's forecasted. Again, we've talked about its variability. What are you doing to improve the way it's forecast so you know what's coming at you?
Forecasting the wind is absolutely essential to helping keep the costs of integrating the wind as low as possible. We are investing in forecasting technology. The other utilities who are developing the wind are investing in that as well. As a matter of fact, at Bonneville, we have a whole wind integration team of a bunch of really smart, really capable, dedicated people who are working on all the different dimensions of the wind integration issue.
As you can see, the wind's still blowing hard here. And I hope you have a better idea based on this video on how valuable a resource the wind is and how hard BPA, other utilities, and other interested parties are working to maximize the value we get from wind energy in the Northwest. A lot of good people doing a lot of great work to make a good resource even better. I also hope you understand how the value of the river contributes to our efforts to make wind energy even better in the Northwest.